Round 5 was the best week I've had so far, so let's see if I continue with some good form. So as always, let's check out what happened in the previous week and how I got on. First up, we had Adelaide Crows versus Carlton, and I was right to not back Carlton. The Crows went on and won by, wow, 56. I thought it would be a close game, but no, Crows were on form and they destroyed the Blues. So I was on the right result, not necessarily a close score, and no one in the group got even remotely close to the score at all. Next up, Dockers versus Gold Coast, and I am so happy because I backed Dockers to do well this year and they've really disappointed. I thought they would win, but I didn't think they would win by a huge margin because they haven't necessarily been firing very well so far with the goal scoring. So I thought they'd win. Considering the Suns are really poor, I thought, well, we'll give the win by 10 points. And guess what? Yes, 10 points. So I get the point for the result and a half a point for getting the spot on result as well. The correct score. Dockers won by 10. Then, here we go. I thought the Swans would be back. They had a little blip, 2 weeks blip, but I thought we would find it again. I can't not back my team. Richmond, I don't think are that great, to be honest. And only 27% of people thought that they would win. I went for Swans by 20, which I thought was a reasonable result. And it was looking fairly close to that until the last quarter when Swans were like, goodbye. And they flew off. So the Swans actually won by 44 points. Come on, you bloods. Next, on Saturday, we had Brisbane versus North. I think that was pretty easy to say that Brisbane were going to win because North started well and they've just lost their form completely. It's almost like they caught people off guard and now people have sussed them out. I did Brisbane by 50. This is the annoying thing. I did Brisbane by 50. I thought that is a huge score. No, Brisbane Lions roared their way to 75 point difference. Wow. 90%, but no one got close to the score. So no extra point for anyone, but a lot of people got the right result. Next, Bombers versus Melbourne. So I don't know why I did this. Why did I do this? No, sorry, what am I talking about? I did Melbourne to win thinking, yeah, they've got this fairly easily. And no, Bombers, only 23% of people thought Bombers were going to win, and they did by 27. So basically my scoreline was the opposite. Not very good by Demons. They have been, although they're still in 5th, I do think they've been a little bit hit or miss this year so far. They're lacking their consistency. Next, Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs. Bulldogs have been pretty poor. They're in 13th. They have won 2, but they're not that good. Port, as I said, are one of those teams that will either play incredible or play pretty awful. And I thought they'll get the better of the day. I did Port by 15. They actually won by 14. So I was 1 point off. So I do get the extra point for being close, and I get the point for winning. Get in. Next up, it's another good one. I knew, and most people knew this, Cats were going to win this. Who the hell were the 7% of people that thought West Coast were going to win? Mental. I did Geelong to win by 50. Geelong actually won by 47, so it's another one where I got the right result and a very close score. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely big score. Actually, to be fair, West Coast did actually get a decent amount of goals, didn't they? With 89 points, you're always going to be there or thereabouts against most teams, but Cats over the last few weeks have had some soul searching to do, haven't they? Then we had GWS versus Hawthorn. Another good result by me. I did GWS to win by 6. I thought it would be a close one. Two teams that are sort of down the bottom there. And I was right. I was right. I chose them by 6. They actually won by 2. So I get a point for the win, point for a close result. And then the last one, oh, this tripped me up. This was the game that I really wasn't sure which way round should I do. Collingwood had lost. St Kilda hadn't lost. They were undefeated, I think, weren't they? But I went with St Kilda. I don't know why, really. I went with St Kilda by 6. And actually Collingwood won by 6, so it was almost the opposite again. So that is how I did that week. So looking at the table so far, Jackson and Aussie TV have both had a good week again, and they still sit number 1 and 2. I want to see who's done the best this week. Up 43 places. Oh, Wolves United up 43 places is the player of the week. Absolutely incredible. Where am I? I have gone up. I know I've gone up. 35, there I am. 35, I've gone up 17 places. Let's see who is getting the wooden spoon. Boonaroo is down 42 places. Wow, that is one big move up and one big move down. On to this week. Let's see how we're going to do this week. Up first on Friday. There's no Thursday game this week. On Friday, it is at the Optus, one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world. The Dockers versus Western Bulldogs. Now, both teams very, very similar form. Fremantle are coming off a win. It's at the Optus as well. Looking at the odds, they are some really, really rubbish odds. If you bet on either team, 1.8 and 1.95. So that's not even worth betting on them. Really not good. But I'm going to go home advantage for the Dockers. They're coming off the back of a win. Maybe the Bulldogs are now sliding again. I'm going to do Fremantle by 10. I still think the Bulldogs will post a challenge because Fremantle, they've still not necessarily found their shooting. But Fremantle by 10. On Saturday, we are over at the Adelaide Oval. Port versus West Coast. West Coast currently sitting 17th at the moment, and Port are up in 9th, which is actually, I think, about the position I predicted in the first place at the end of the season. I think Port are going to win this. I just have no reason to believe West Coast can win. I'm amazed they've even got one win. So Port are going to have another good win. I'm going to go Port by 30. Port by 30, just because I think most teams that play against West Coast are going to win by a decent amount. I don't think you're going to get many close games with them. Next, we're over in Canberra, apparently. Wow, the Manuka Oval. That's a new one for me. The Manuka Oval, apparently, GWS. Why are they not playing at their home ground? Don't understand that one. Anyway, that might be wrong on here, but correct me. GWS versus Brisbane. Brisbane are obviously coming off a 75-point victory. GWS, once again, are a team that can do really well or not so well. If it is in Canberra, they're not in their home ground. You've got to go for Brisbane. Where are Brisbane at the moment? Brisbane are currently 8th. And GWS are 12th. So it's not massive amounts different. There's only one win in it. But I think I can only go for Brisbane and hope they don't let me down. So I'm going to go Brisbane. Do them by 30 as well, I think. I don't think their victory will be as big as last week's, but I think they'll get a decent win. Then at the GMHBA Stadium in Geelong with their not very oval, Geelong versus Sydney Swans. It is a replay of last year's grand final. Swans have got something to prove, right? The Cats destroyed them in the final. I was there. It was sad. It was depressing. In the odds, Geelong are favourites to win this. 1.5. Swans are 2.5. I don't think that means anything. I've said I cannot go against my Swans. And actually, even now, I think the Swans should win because I think they've got something to prove. I think that does a lot to people, knowing they've got to prove something. That grand final was embarrassing. I know a lot of other fans didn't necessarily show the annoyance that I had, but that was embarrassing, and the players should be ashamed of themselves for their performance. So, will they up their game and prove themselves? I don't... Do I think it'll be a close one? I'm going to do Swans by 10. I don't know if it'll be a close one. We may blow them out of water. It may be a really close game. I really don't know, but I'm going to do by 10 just to be somewhere in the middle, sort of. Next on Sunday, Sunday the 23rd, Hawthorn versus Adelaide Crows. Can Crows make it 4 wins in a row? They are on really, really good form now, aren't they? They really are good form. Hawthorn are pretty poor. They are same as North, same as West Coast. They are just not finding anything, are they? It's at the University of Tasmania Stadium over in Launceston. But I don't really think that's a home ground for Hawthorn, really, is it? So, Crows. I think Crows are going to keep it up. I'm going to do Crows by 20. No, I'm going to do Crows by 30. Yeah, Crows by 30, I think. Maybe right, maybe wrong, who knows? Over to the Marvel, Carlton versus St Kilda. Now, St Kilda have just come from their first defeat. Technically, Carlton have also come from their first defeat. It could be a close game. Is this a game where Carlton just solid? Carlton, I've said this. Carlton are a solid team. They're a consistent normally. I don't think they're a high-scoring team normally. Is this the year for St Kilda, though? I didn't think it would be, but they have started off really well. I'm going to go St Kilda. I know they're not the favourites for it. I'm going to go St Kilda by 6. I think it'll be a close one. But is this their year? Maybe it is. It's funny because when I watch, for example, things like Hard Quiz, and I remember there was someone who was a St Kilda fan and they just got ripped apart because of how bad St Kilda is, and all they could do was admit it. But anyway, maybe this is St Kilda's year. Then over to the Metricon. This is like, who is worse? Who is better from being not so rubbish, if that makes sense? This is a tough one. The only thing that is going is that it's at the Metricon. I think I'll go with Gold Coast simply for the home advantage. I don't think I can give it any other reason. We'll go by 10. It could be more, could be less, but I'm only going to go with it for that home advantage, I think. Monday. We've got 2 games on a Monday. Is it a bank holiday over there? Maybe it's a bank holiday, but I think... I don't know. Let me know. Is it a bank holiday? Or is it the coronation? Or is that next? I don't know. I'm getting confused with dates. Anyway, Monday 24th at the MCG. It's 2 games back-to-back by the looks of it. Melbourne versus Richmond. Melbourne's home ground, but Richmond are there as well, so it doesn't really have I don't think there's a home advantage. I don't think when people play at the MCG, there is much of a home or away advantage. It seems to be a little bit with Swans playing there. But you play there so often that does it really make a difference? I think Richmond are staying in their slump. I know Demons lost their last one, but I think they'll come back out of it. Melbourne by 20, I think. I just don't think Richmond have the quality. And bearing in mind, so many tipsters were like, yeah, this is Richmond's year. Yeah, we're going to do really well. And really? I'm yet to see any real reason. So, Demons, I think. Then, Collingwood against Essendon. It's another one where both teams have only lost 1. Very similar match to last week with Collingwood versus St Kilda. It's now Collingwood versus Essendon. Collingwood are favourites, 1.47. It's about 4-9 or something like that. This is not easy. It's really not easy. Oh, it's another one that I could get right and could get wrong. This should be another close game. I'm going to go Collingwood. I did predict Collingwood to finish in a decent position this year, so I'm going Collingwood by 15. 6, 12, few behinds, 15. That is what I'm going for in that game. So there it is. Fremantle by 10, Port by 30, Brisbane by 30, Swans by 10, Crows by 30, St Kilda by 6, Gold Coast by 10, Melbourne by 20, and Collingwood by 50. I haven't gone for any that are ridiculously big scorelines. I haven't gone for 50s, 60s this week. I don't necessarily think they will happen, but we will find out within the coming days. Let me know what view tip. Do you agree with mine? Do you think, Rob, you are completely wrong there, it should have been the other way? Please do let me know in the comments, and it would mean the world if you like the video and subscribe. That's the most important thing. Thank you so much. Catch you next time.